Hi, I'm Dana Hansen. I'm the Director of Franchise Development for College H.U.N.K.S, hauling junk and moving. Super excited to be joined today. Will Sullivan is one of our new owners. Super excited to be able to talk to you, Will. Give you a little, give you a chance to kind of share a little bit about your story. I know you're one of our new people. Would you mind kind of sharing when you started and where you're located?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So again, Will Sullivan. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. So there wasn't no locations near us. A kind of little island over here, but obviously I'd heard of the brand and was excited to bring it here.
Awesome, man. So I'm curious. I mean, you're pretty young. How did you know that you wanted to own a business instead of going into, a lot of people go into corporate America and just kind of get stuck there for a lifetime, it seems like. So how did you know early on that you wanted to be a business owner, or why did you choose franchising?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it kind of came upbringing. Both my parents had kind of done their on my camera go out.
Nope, I got you.
Yeah, so both my parents had kind of been, small business owners, self-employed. And growing up, I did a lot of little odd things for myself, from the landscaping to the car washing to, whatever you have it. Biggest thing I did in high school was I did a cell phone repair company. So I had kind of taken that, was kind of back and forth going to school and then, going to Clemson University school in South Carolina, thinking I was going to do electrical engineering just because I had liked messing around with electronics and stuff. So I studied there and kind of halfway through made a switch to the financial field. I had family members on my other side that did that. Thought it sounded really cool. So, finished school up and then, come when I graduated, I went and, joined and was a member of a firm down here that did that kind of work. Did it for about a year and a half. I liked it, didn't love it. Always kind of had that little entrepreneurial spark. And the biggest thing that gave me the push was when COVID came and we had a lot of downtime. So I just sit in the house and just had a lot of time to think, just kind of reassess everything. And so I really, kind of decided, hey, once this all kind of clears up, I want to try to do something different. So I just started looking at everything and I had come across College H.U.N.K.S. I spoke with Dana probably June, July time of 2020. And then, it was a process. I was speaking to a bunch of different people, both franchise routes, also looking at things, just, starting it myself, kind of put it on hold, with the whole College H.U.N.K.S idea until later December that year. My parents, they lived down the kind of South Florida area. So driving down 95 and, kept seeing all these College H.U.N.K.S trucks. It's like, one of those things once you see the name and you kind of start noticing. And somewhere down, I still need to find what location it is, but you're coming 95 south to the right, there's a big orange building, one of the warehouses right off the highway. And what, I forgot about those guys. So we kind of rekindled everything and then really started looking at it. And that's when I, did the discovery day and the discovery calls. Remember Jeff Moss was one of the guys I did the calls with. And that was, he was real helpful and kind of answering questions I would have. At first I thought maybe it would be a side deal on what I was currently doing. And with talking with him, he's kind of like, you got to hit it and go. You can't just, kind of have it, doing something on the side, not to start at least. So he kind of, gave me the idea to really look at it from a full-time perspective instead of just, a little side hustle, so to speak. And so that's kind of where I had, kind of gotten to that point, finally decided after, a lot of thinking back and forth to make the leap. So I think it was March 2021 when I had signed the agreement, like very end of March. And then we opened on July 9th, doing just junk for the first few weeks. And then the moves came a couple weeks after and just been going ever since.
Man, we're glad you made the choice. I remember you going through the process and learning about us. And you did a lot of due diligence. You asked a lot of good questions. So we're happy that you're here. You've done some pretty special things pretty quickly. I mean, I don't know if you mind sharing some of the numbers that you've been able to do. In maybe the last couple of months. Where are you at from a revenue perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of ever since the start of the year, we've just been going straight up. If you told me 4 months ago, we'd be kind of doing what we were doing, I probably wouldn't believe you. But, the last 2 months, so this is June, July 2022, we were, over 170,000 each month. And,
Wow.
I got 5 trucks here, which, we were trying to project around 125 if we really pushed it. So we kind of blew past what we were really planning on, which was just awesome. There's some hiccups on the way, but it's part of growing. And it just, at the end of coming to the end of the summer here, just looking back, pretty cool to see, how we were able to, just do that many jobs and just have that many people that work for us, and just kind of trying to do every day best we can, which it's been fun.
Man, to do 170K in a single month and then do it again the next month, that is a lot of jobs, and that's a lot of, you need trucks, you need hunks. How you been? How's it been like recruiting? Do you have some good guys working for you, and have you been able to kind of help build them up, help people kind of rise through the ranks a little bit?
Yeah. That's been a good thing. I mean, when I we started telling people back in 21 that I was doing this, everyone was like, man, you're gonna have the biggest problem trying to get people. No one can get people. Restaurants over here, everywhere you drive, it's got signs and stuff. So I was expecting that to be the biggest challenge. It probably is the biggest challenge, I would say, at least in this environment now. But thankfully, we've been pretty good. I think being a little younger, recently out of college, having some context, kind of knowing, being able to connect with these guys that come in does help. And so thankfully, we really hadn't had too big of an issue. We have had some guys that haven't cut it and can kind of leave a bad taste in other people's mouths, but overall, we've had really solid crews, people that show up ready to work and have a good attitude and just really bring a lot to the table. So it's just been awesome seeing them come through the door, and some stay for a while, some can only work a couple months, but either way, we love having them.
No, that's awesome. I heard that you may have set the record for the biggest junk job ever in our history. I'd have to check that number, but even if it wasn't the biggest, it's got to be like right up there. It's got to be in the top probably 3. Would you mind sharing some of the details on that? What it was and how much it was?
Yeah, so we just finished it. It was a job, to say the least, but it was $8,000 for a full student living apartment clean out, basically, furnished apartment. And we cleaned out over 1,000 bedrooms, common areas, and it was just so much furniture, so much stuff. At the end of the day, we ended up a little right around like 100,000 pounds just of scrap metal, and probably 20,000 pounds worth of couches and leather goods. So it was a lot. Learned a lot on the way, but yeah, it was quite a deal. So it took us about 3.5 weeks to do it, but it was a lot of fun.
That's wild. How much did you say it was?
80,000. Yeah.
80,000, man. That's that is a job. Holy smokes. At first I thought you said 8, and then I go, did he say 8 or 80? And I'm like, that's sick, man. That's pretty amazing. The other thing that you got a shout out for your NOI number, which is important. Obviously, everybody's looking at bottom line numbers and like what those numbers look like. I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing it. If you don't, that's okay. But like I think maybe a month or so back, they gave you kind of a shout out in our daily huddle. Do you remember what that number was, or do you want to share it?
Yeah, so I think that was back in, both March and June. We had pretty strong months. And our NOI, which that's a number a lot of people really look at, kind of came in right at 25%, which was awesome.
Wow.
Summer months usually, from what they kind of tell us, are better than the winter months. But yeah, it was real great. So it's great doing the sales and everything, but just making sure you're running everything, properly and hitting those other metrics are really what helps drive that number. So, we really try to make sure we're hitting our targets below that top line, just to make sure everything kind of, checks out at the end. So I was really, really proud to see it come out, that high. Projecting 15 to 20% is usually pretty solid. So, getting 25 was really cool, and good deal.
That's awesome, man. Super proud of you. One last question. you mentioned that, you think kind of your age has helped you. We've actually had owners that have had challenges in the past where they were kind of the same age as the hunks, and they had the hunks trying to take advantage of them, and maybe not like, acting like they're friends, not, like they don't work for it. Like, how have you had any issues with that, or how do you manage that? How do you set those expectations, I guess?
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally see that. It works. I think, from the recruiting and like, the morale standpoint, I think it works really well. I can sit here and we have guys kind of coming in and it's cool. We can cut up and talk and, kind of talk how the day went and, what cool things. And they can kind of say, oh, this person, blah, 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 blah. And, we can just talk and have a fun time. But when it comes to the flip side, someone does something wrong, biggest thing with us is the texting and driving. That's the biggest thing I got to yell at people at typically. We really are striving to hit the safety goals and everything. So, sometimes I can, try to yell at someone, though, hey, you can't text and drive, do that in your own car in your own time if you want. But, we just can't have that when we're driving a big truck out there. It's just not safe. Sometimes we get a little push, or I get a little pushback just because, it can be, they'll be like, well, I don't, but I think, if you keep pushing it and kind of then you're like, hey, listen, like, I know we're friends, but at the end of the day, this is your job. I'm the one who decides who works, who doesn't work, and I'm the one who signs the paychecks too. That normally gets it. So, it's not fun to do the discipline stuff, but it does have to be there. So yeah, it can be a challenge, I think, at some points. But so I think, as with everything, there's the good and bads that come with it. So, from the recruiting and the morale standpoint, I think it helps out, being able to connect with them. But then, it can be a little harder on the discipline side, just, from the whole authority figure. But, we've kind of worked around that, something kind of learn what to say, what not to say, and what sticks, and kind of build from there.
I think any new business has that anyway. You're just trying to feel your way through it and you're learning, and it's kind of like on the job training, and sounds like you've done a fantastic job. Aside from the numbers that you shared, and the huge junk job and everything else you've done, any other kind of proud moments that stand out with you, whether that's with a customer or with with a hunk, or anything that kind of stands out, what we would probably call a move the world story?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of small ones. I mean, we haven't had like one crazy one like I've heard some of the other locations, at least not yet. But I mean, just every few days, I'll get a call from someone that just, they just want to take time to just say how good the guys did or what they helped them with. We will have a lot of elderly clients that'll, they'll be trying to move and they might not have family in town. And so those are usually awesome, where, they're overwhelmed, they don't know what to do, they're in a tough situation, and we're able to help them. And, sometimes they're crying, and they'll come, we have someone, bake cookies and come and drop them off, just saying like how much it meant that we helped them. So, we've had a lot of little things like that, which are awesome. Especially with what we do, we do get unhappy calls sometimes, walls dinged, or, we something got broken, it's glass, et cetera. So just having those, those little calls that come through where they're just like, hey, I just had to say, like, John and Sean today just did such an amazing job. Like, I can't express how nice they were, and this and that. Like, it's just great to hear that. And it just, really makes the rest of your day. I know it kind of sounds cliche, but, can't really, speak to how much that means to hear those little things every day. So maybe we'll get a really big one day, but just, every few days we'll have something like that comes up. It just, just makes me proud of the guys, and kind of proud to be part of the brand that's trying to do all that move the world stuff.
Yeah, man, it's the little things that make the big differences. I'm really a firm believer in that. And even something as simple as getting that phone call, and someone expressing that gratitude, like, it gives us purpose, and it helps us to remember, like, it's not just about making money, it's about making a difference. And I think people like love the feeling of like decluttering their garage, or or just feeling the relief when they do a move and their stuff's not broken, and just the kind of the simple things. And so yeah, it kind of helps put it all in perspective, especially for someone that is older, or on a fixed income, if for them to bake cookies, like, take their time, like, that's pretty cool, man. That's it definitely is awesome. So Man, I want to wish you continued success, Will. You're crushing it. Love your numbers, love your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. We'll try our best. It's, what I tell the guys and what I tell myself. So, we don't know what's going to come down the road. So, we may have even better numbers, or, we might just try to, keep up with what we're doing. But, every day, just bring whatever we can to the table and see where that takes us.
Hey, continued success.
Appreciate it.